Welcome back, No DQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the No DQ Review, number 154. And I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of No DQ, of course, Aaron Rift. Walter Cruz is here. He's been in the chat for what? The last 50-plus episodes, maybe all of them. He's been a gracious super chatter. Welcome here. And, of course, we brought back Jargo, because Jargo's awesome. This is his second show. Gentlemen, what's up? Walter, thanks for being here, man. Are you excited to do this show with us tonight?
Definitely excited. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate you guys.
Good. And, well, you know how this works. We'll come to you when it's your turn to talk. You know how you chat it up all the time in the chat? Well, now we're just going to hear you actually give your opinion. And trust me, you know, if you feel the stage fright or pressure, I'll be here for you. Don't worry. Jargo, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? I feel like we just sat down and did a show together, like, 15 minutes ago.
We did. Virtue's Rage on the BigVitoBrand.com. Look at that cheap plug. That's going to be up soon. But Jargo, oh, man, we have some topics tonight. We're going to have fun. These are things we did not talk about necessarily on our other show. So here we go. Aaron Rift, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been quite the week between All Out. We had, well, a not-so-eventful Monday Night Raw. We had Dynamite with the appearances of Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole, baby. No shortage of things to talk about. There's news about Kevin Owens. Wrestling is very interesting to watch right now. It's definitely been newsworthy, and I'm looking forward to this discussion. Thank you, Jargo, for being back with us this week. And Walter, a pleasure to have you on with us on the panel. And again, if you feel stage fright or anything, Virtue will come in with his rants. Jargo will provide some insight, and I'll just be here for the laughs. All right, let's get it going.
Shout out to Colin the Cleaver Andrew, though. He's our moderator. We know he's busy on Thursday nights, but he gets on the show when he can. But big shout out to him. Big G is now a married man. He will be back at some point. I think he's honeymooning in Disney World. We know Jeff Meacham's hanging out if we need him because of technical difficulties. But anybody that's always been on the review, Jerry Slaughter, a shout out to all of you. Topic number one.
Virtue.
Walter Cruz. Yes.
Yeah, real quick. Jeff is in the green room right now. He's on standby in case we have any technical issues. I just want to give Jeff a free plug since he was kind enough to step in and be part of the standby crew for this week's No DQ review. So I'm going to throw up his graphic. It might be dated already, but these are his shows. Let's see. Do we have anything that's coming up in the near future? Well, you can check it out. Jeff Meacham Network. He's got all of his stuff. He's got a huge calendar of events coming up on his channel. So thank you to Jeff for being on. And again, congratulations to Big Baller G. I do want to throw a plug out for him real quick. Follow him at nodq.com/Jeff, Geoff. He is a newly married man. We had a great time. Oh, and Jeff Meacham sent me something. What did he send me?
Welcome to the club.
He sent me another graphic, so maybe I'll throw that up at the end. Anyways, Virtue, let's go ahead and get to this video. Oh, real quick. We do have a few super chats. So, yeah, we're already getting towards that 1 hour plus of the No DQ review.
I'll be cutting some people off this week.
Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat, says, Undertaker returning tomorrow. No, and I do not know where that rumor came from, but I would be very surprised if that happens. Never say never, but I do not know anything about that being a realistic possibility. Now,
how about this?
The rumor is coming from there's like a Netflix interactive movie that he's doing with the New Day, so maybe that fueled the rumors.
Saudi Arabia.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if he shows up, that's
Saudi Arabia.
The 90s guy sent in a $5 super chat, says, good day from Australia. Good to see you guys. How good is wrestling at the moment, especially AEW? Have a good one, guys. Welcome, Walter. Thank you for that.
Are we ready?
Yeah, let's get going with it.
Walter, AEW, All Out. Okay. Chris Jericho beat MJF, by the way. That was very interesting. And I don't think I had a problem with it because everyone expected MJF to beat him. But Ruby Soho debuted in AEW. Adam Cole debuted in AEW. Bryan Danielson debuted in AEW. And it's like you couldn't spread all of these out, and we're still riding the high from CM Punk. We couldn't have got more teasers, more initials on Punk's sneakers. I cannot believe this happened. So we're going to go around the horn and talk about All Out, talk about the debuts, CM Punk's match with Darby Allin, the tribute part that they did, the homage they did to 1-2-3 Kid and Bret Hart. That's doing your homework. That's professional wrestling. Walter Cruz, you are on the clock.
Yeah, right now AEW is on fire. It has the wrestling business on fire. Everybody's tuning in. I think I would have spread it out. Maybe I would have did Soho and Bryanson, but I would have saved Adam Cole for Dynamite.
Did you say Bryanson? I like that name, Bryanson. We know who you meant, though.
Daniel Bryanson. I did say Bryanson, but I would have saved him. I would have debuted him the way you did it, but I would have saved Adam Cole for Dynamite. I think they're doing too much. They're letting all the eggs in one basket too soon. And eventually, yeah, like you said, we're still riding the CM Punk high. So it's like they're throwing too much at us at one time. But, I mean, the pay-per-view was awesome. I gave it an A+. I mean, I think any pay-per-view of the year, that was the #1 right now.
Obviously you like Punk and Darby Allin, and they delivered. Punk 7 years off. You know, he knows what he's doing. What did you think of the outcome of the Jericho MJF match and feud? Very curious on that from your perspective.
I was really surprised. I thought MJF was going to win. I thought Jericho was just going to commentate or go back on tour with Fozzy. So, I mean, they got me hook, line, and sinker there. I was shocked. And then I like the way they did it with the foot on the rope and the swerve they gave us. So I think that Tony Khan did it correctly.
MJF sold his back. I love seeing that. That's old school wrestling and psychology. So, Aaron, I'm going to send it over to you because the super chats are coming in. Jargo, I know you're ready. You're hot, ready to go. A few more moments here. Aaron Rift.
All right, Matt Helm sent a very, very generous $50 super chat. Thank you for that, Matt. I really do appreciate it. He says, hello, everyone. How are you all doing? We're doing great. We're riding that wave of momentum, Virtue. That is the word of the day, momentum. AEW on Dynamite this week, the second highest rated Dynamite of all time. A lot of people talking about AEW. Mick Foley criticizing WWE, and apparently there are some people unhappy about that. It is getting really interesting. I was surprised about both debuts on the same night. I thought that they were going to spread them out. But
well, there's 3. Ruby Soho, we can't count her short. They need to boost that women's division. I
guess the idea is you gotta get that ball rolling. You gotta strike the iron when it's hot, and there could possibly be more to come in this next several weeks and months. You potentially could see Bray Wyatt in AEW and several guys that were recently released. Bronson Reed. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could end up in AEW, and I guess they just want to get these guys on TV when they're fresh. You know, Daniel Bryan was at WrestleMania and on SmackDown for a few weeks after that, and you want to bring him in as soon as possible and try to capitalize off of his TV time in WWE. Same thing with Ruby Soho. I get it. And people were not expecting it. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a positive. When you can make people get surprised about what's happening, I think that's a positive. When Adam Cole came out there, I didn't think we were going to see Bryan Danielson. So when he showed up, yeah, it was a bit of a surprise. And if it was just him, you know, I was expecting his music to hit. If it was just him, I'd be like, oh, yeah, there he is. But then when Adam Cole came out, that threw me off a little bit. I like the swerve that they did. And all in all, looking forward to what's next and where they go from here. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, not a fan of Bryan Daniels. Brandon, I can't even say it. We're all doing it here. We're just going to call him Brian to make it easy. Yeah. Not a fan of Brian's entrance music. I agree on that. I posted a video off of Reddit where they dubbed in the final countdown over the music he's actually using. And I think that's way better. But apparently they could not secure the rights to the
50
music.
grand a pop or something like that.
50 grand a pop.
Is that
Where
what
did
you
you
told
guys
me,
hear
Jargo?
That's gosh, where was that? It might have been from the Meltzer sheeple.
Oh, well,
So-
somebody threw that number out there, and it would not shock me if that's true. And if that's the case, it's just a shame. All right, Jeff is playing the role of Sammy Guevara in the green room, putting up signs.
Is that just for the instrumental, 50 grand a pop, without even lyrics?
I don't know if that's the case or not, but if Tony Khan cannot afford whatever they were charging, then you know it was expensive because, as Virtue has pointed out many times, the Khan family has quite a bit of money.
Oh,
So-
Shad's a baller. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I like Shad Khan. I mean, Shad Khan, I put him right up there as like one of my idols, like just from a business standpoint, not wrestling. Shad's the man.
All right. Before we get to Jargo, let me get this one from James. He sent in $5. Thank you, James. He says, AEW blew their load. That's what I said on Sunday. He said, I'm scared they won't be able to measure up to this last week moving forward. And that is something I talked about, the idea that how do they top this? Like the next pay-per-view, you brought out 2 big names at the end of the show. How in the hell do you follow that up? That's going to be a tough task for them because there's only so many people. They do have more people they can bring in, but at one point is enough, and you have too many people. It's tough to say if it was the right call, but people are talking about AEW. So far, so good for them. We'll see if they can keep the numbers moving in that upward direction. They might go back down next week to 1.1, 1.2 million. But the key is the next 6 months, can they get those numbers up on a regular basis and gradually build their audience and bring in some new eyeballs? And sorry, we got a few more people here with super chats. I'm trying to get through these. You know what? We'll let Jargo go, and then we'll come back to me with the rest of them so he can say his piece on everything. Go ahead, Jargo.
Well, number one, shout out to Nick Glavin in the chat. Let's just pretend like Minoru Suzuki didn't show up at All Out. You know, I mean, like, come on. I'm the Japanese guy, right? Like that's kind of my beat. There's somebody else made the comment, and I forget who it was. They did too much. And that's my fear. I mean, when the return of CM Punk is the number 3 thing coming out of the show, I feel like they did too much. I understand what they were doing. They went out. This was their Lex Luger moment, right? Like they went out and they planted their big dick in the sand and said, look at what we got. You know, like that's really how I feel like All Out was. Like they were trying to make some kind of a statement. You don't think we're competition? Well, guess what? We've got, you know, the longest reigning NXT champion of all time. We've got the guy who was in the main event of WrestleMania. We're bringing over this female talent that everybody on the face of the planet knows that you didn't use properly. We've got all this talent. I did a lineup of the talent that wasn't on All Out, and it was like a whole nother freaking roster. It was insane, the amount of talent that wasn't on All Out. They could have made that a 7.5-hour show if they wanted to. They're trying to make a statement, and I understand that. They're trying to get the buzz. They're trying to get people like Virtue to buy the pay-per-view so he's not going off and pirating it off of some website. Like, that's what they're trying to do at this point, and they're doing a hell of a job at doing it. Following it up with Dynamite, I wouldn't say it was a home run, but I consider it a solid double. At least we have some kind of creative direction. We can kind of see where the company is going to be going. But I feel like the follow-up to what they did at All Out is going to be far more important than what All Out was itself.
Jargo, what was your favorite match of All Out?
Ooh, that is a tough one. Because I like a lot of different matches for a lot of different reasons, right? Like I thought Miro and Eddie Kingston might have been the highlight of the show. And then I saw, you know, the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, and what they are in there doing athletically is just absolutely freaking insane. Then you get to, you know, Christian and Kenny, and it's like, can you justify Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega as the main event of this ridiculous show that we've already seen? MJF and Jericho might have been the best old school wrestling match that I've seen in like 20 years. I mean, like there was a lot of really, really good stuff on this show just for very, very different reasons. And I feel like they kind of need to bring it all back together as one so that it all seems like it exists inside of the same universe, because right now it feels kind of disjointed.
I picked Punk versus Darby Allin, right? I actually put that over that was a great first opponent for CM Punk to help him get back into it because of the lightweight of Darby, the style of the match it was going to be. And they, like I said, they did homework, and that to me, had I known that was going to go that well, maybe, and I know you can't predict the future. You buy a pay-per-view based on the hype, right? And you don't know how the matches are going to be until you see it. But that might, if I saw that match beforehand and knew that's what I was going to pay $50 for, I might have paid that $50. So Jargo, like you said to me before on other shows, that match, me seeing that match, might now entice me to consider giving AEW $50 the next time, right? And that's important to win over a more WWE style fan like me, a casual fan, an Attitude Era fan. That goes a long way. So, Aaron, back to you. Back to the Super Chats.
All right. So we got TJS. Tyler Joseph Smith sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, AEW has me excited to watch weekly wrestling. AEW seems to be the place to be, but how long until the boat gets too heavy and sinks? Crowded card at the moment. Yeah. Well said, TJS. And I think Jeff in the green room is agreeing with that. And that's odd. When Jeff Meacham is agreeing with TJS, something is definitely interesting.
Just no brand split, no 3-hour shows, AEW, please.
But you know, the thing that's weird to me though, right, is everybody seems like they're ready for Hangman Adam Page to win the AEW championship, right? Like people thought that was going to happen at All Out. Now people got it penciled in for Full Gear. It just seems like a foregone conclusion. And my question is, who do they have lined up as heels to be contenders to Hangman Adam Page?
Good point.
And now, like, they're bringing in people like Adam Cole that almost goes immediately to the top of the list. Malachi Black almost goes immediately to the top of the list. Miro, who's holding the TNT title, so I don't know if you want to interchange that, but they're all former WWE guys. Nobody wants that because then people are going to complain about that.
Yeah,
you know, the obvious MJF, the chat had to let us know about MJF.
Yeah, MJF is the obvious choice.
MJF is not a main event talent yet. He talks like one, but he doesn't wrestle like one, not in AEW.
There you go.
Jeff Meacham in the green room is very shocked about what you just said, Jargo.
About what?
Disbelief.
I think he has the big skills and the talent, but it might be a little bit too premature. He might be right.
All right, let's get to some of these other super chats.
Yes, please do.
The Game is on 100 with a $5 super chat says, I have a hunch that AEW will favor the older talent than the younger talent by how they booked this last pay-per-view because of the EVP egos. I guarantee it. Interesting comment there from The Game is on 100.
Tony Khan, this is where now, to me, Tony Khan has the pressure on it. It was easy to spend money. Now how are you going to manage all these personalities? And I know it's not necessarily the egos of the Attitude Era like Bischoff had to deal with, but it's still a big locker room, a big kitchen with a lot of cooks.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Because Brian doesn't really have an ego. Punk seems to be humble. I don't see anyone really having a huge ego right now.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. We're fans watching the show. We don't know.
Nobody has a huge ego while things are going good. Yeah. It's when things start going bad, then we'll see the egos coming.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Johnny Boy sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Johnny Boy. He says, disappointed with the direction of CM Punk. I don't like his I'm putting over people thing. His trash talking, always angry, is what got him over. Well, I wonder if at some point he will go heel and if that can work. Because I do understand that point, like him just being, happy-go-lucky and all this stuff. Like we want to see him pissed off, and that's yet to happen. I still want to have CM Punk in there with MJF, like have them go back and forth on the mic. That's what I'm looking forward to, where we can get that trash talking. Jeff is giving me the thumbs up on that one.
Dude, Jargo pointed out to me something even better than MJF and Punk. Dan Lambert representing his new wrestlers, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, against CM Punk verbally.
I'm telling, to me, that's absolute money. Just knowing that Dan Lambert comes from the MMA world and he's going to call Punk out for being awful at MMA.
Yep.
That's where it's going to go. It's going to get really real, really quick. And I like everything about that.
Yep.
Do you think CM Punk will be cool with them making fun of his UFC losses?
It's business.
Be off the table.
It's CM Punk. Let's look at the things that he has said about people like, I don't know, Jeff Hardy over the course of the years. I think Punk knows that karma's a bitch and it's coming for him.
Yeah, well, it's
somebody's going to bring it up.
Dish it out, but can you take it?
Exactly. Somebody's going to bring it up, and I think Dan Lambert is the guy to do it.
I think Punk can laugh at himself. I think he'll let them put it. He'll do it himself.
Well, yes, because it's wrestling, and they can book him to make him look good from it. Right?
Yeah, it's CM Punk. He goes out there and he runs his mouth about, I'm a guy who followed my dreams and I got my ass kicked, but I lived my dreams just like all of you can live your dreams. It's like white meat babyface stuff. And Dan Lambert can be the biggest douchebag on the face of the planet and say everything that everybody is thinking about CM Punk.
Yeah. Dude, who cares about hurt feelings, you know? All right, Aaron, back to you. I know there's still more super chats before we move on.
All right, yeah, we do have a couple more here, so let's get to those. Jeez, quite a few here. Thank you, guys. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, now that CM Punk's back, who is next to return? Well,
that's a top. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. There's several names, and I already mentioned a few earlier as possibilities. TJS sent in a $2 super chat, says, what?
Kazi Minar.
Who's that?
It must be a New Japan wrestler. We probably just spelled it wrong.
For the love of God, it's Minoru Suzuki's entrance music. It's what everybody yells right as he gets into the ring. He gets everybody clapping. They took it away from us because Tony Khan can't time his goddamn show. That's what happened. The show was running long, and they cut Minoru Suzuki's freaking entrance. Of all the I'm outraged by this.
Now, Jargo, what would you say? I don't know if he'll say this in the chat, but Mr. Tito, who writes columns on No DQ, if he were to say, who's Minoru Suzuki? Nobody knows who he is over here. Who is he? What's that song? I've never heard of it. What would you say to somebody like him?
That's me.
And Aaron Riff just now.
Oh, for the love of God. Okay.
Just tell him to subscribe to New Japan World?
No, I tell him to do your goddamn research. I mean, for the love of God, modern day mixed martial arts would not exist without Minoru Suzuki and the founding of Pancrase. Right? Like that is a known freaking fact. Like this guy is the godfather of all combat sports. And he is the man that the boogeyman looks under his freaking bed for. Minoru Suzuki is terrifying. He is scarier than anything that I've ever seen in my life. I don't even like that he was 4 hours away from my house and I didn't know it. I am freaking paranoid as shit now just because I know Minoru Suzuki is in my area. I don't like it. I don't trust Minoru Suzuki. He is the leader of Suzuki-gun, which Lance Archer is as well. We're going to see him together Wednesday night on Dynamite, replying to Jon Moxley in his hometown treatment. I'm looking forward to that. These guys got thrown out of New Japan Pro Wrestling for 2 years because they were such heels. Like this is who Minoru Suzuki is. And you not even knowing who Minoru Suzuki is, I'm embarrassed for you, Aaron. I am embarrassed.
I can't believe Aaron has never, unless you've seen this, Aaron. Have you ever seen him work that beating the crap out of Asuka when she was Kana? Oh my goodness.
You want to know how much of a badass Minoru Suzuki is? He tapped out Ken Shamrock twice in a shoot fight.
All right, Aaron, you got to go on with your super chats, right? Let that digest. We got to go on with the show. That was awesome.
Respect on Minoru Suzuki. Thank you, Jason.
I've watched a grand total of like 3 New Japan Pro Wrestling matches in my life and maybe like 3 UFC fights in my life.
Oh, for the love of God.
All the Jericho matches. All right, Aaron, go on.
I'm busy watching all the WWE crap, but that alone is enough for me at this point. That's more than I can handle as it is. All right. Dwayne Atkinson with the $2 super chat says, now that CM Punk's back, oh, we answered that one already. So he got his listed twice. Look what happened now. I'm going all over the place here. Okay. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $3 super chat, says, well, $2.92, but we'll round it. He says, I actually like Bryan Danielson's theme music. I'm sure I'll get used to it over time. I prefer Final Countdown. Oh, by the way, Tito said Final Countdown sucks. What do you guys think about that? Which is better, Final Countdown or what he's using now?
Final Countdown.
I like all those. I like all that 80s stuff. So Final Countdown, but I could name 100 other 80s songs I like better. So I'm not going to be mad that Tito said that.
Jeff, give us a thumbs up for Final Countdown.
I think his theme is going to grow on it. I think we got to give it time. It's like when Lashley returned. I hated his theme. I wanted him to go back to his old theme when Bobby Lashley came back, but now it kind of fits him.
Final Countdown is the better song, but not at 50 grand a pop.
Yeah, good point. Exactly. Matt Helms sent in a $5 super chat. Says, get well, Triple H. Oh, Jeff has a sign up in the green room that says, Mr. Tito sucks. We need to get Jeff and Mr. Tito on in a little bit of a no DQ debate. By the way, we might have Robbie Vice in a new series on NoDQ.com at some point, so stay tuned for that. We've been talking about getting something going with him over the weekend. Maybe Sunday we'll have something up for you guys. Let's see. I think we might be caught up now. Let me check.
Did you mention the $50 one? You probably did.
Oh yeah, I did. Okay. I was very.
All right, well, we're gonna move on, right? And I'm not gonna give any more input here of All Out because we're going forward now. All these wrestlers are there, and now we got to talk about who's still left on the free agent market. We know Bray Wyatt's out there. We know, Aaron, is that still confirmed that CM Punk had the BW, whatever that might have meant, on his sneakers?
I mean, that's what everybody's assuming.
Okay, I don't know how things are doctored up sometimes, but there are other free agents still out there as well from all those releases from NXT. You know, Braun Strowman, I know many people don't care about him. I still believe he'll go back to WWE on a lesser deal. That's just because he's like a WWE guy. I mean, I don't know. He's bodybuilding with EC3 now. Who knows? To me, I want to see, and I know Big Cass is currently with Impact Wrestling. Jargo, we don't know how those Impact contracts really are. So I want to see Enzo and Cass back in NXT with this, right? If Vince McMahon is taking this over, if it's colorful, if it looks like we're going to get New Day characters, we're going to get – dude, those guys were in NXT. They got the pops from the crowd. It was before all their Enzo's backstage heat because he was a diva and all that. But that, you know, wrestlers grow and mature, and Vince McMahon gives people second chances, all right? Ultimate Warrior. To me, Macho Man was put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Vince McMahon is forgiving. He probably would have made a deal with Punk for business, right? But whatever. I want to see Enzo and Cass back in WWE. Out of all the free agents left, Jargo, I'll pop over to you. Who do you want to see and where the most as a fan?
Well, I mean, the popular choices are going to be, I saw Johnny Boy made the comment about Tessa Blanchard, but the report is Tessa Blanchard has nuclear heat. Nobody's going to bring her in. I feel like I bring in Marty Scurll before I brought in Tessa Blanchard, who also has nuclear heat and is not getting a job anywhere. To me, I feel like the one that I would bring in if I had my choice, and granted, I am a huge mark for this guy, right? This guy is so great that in one match, he can turn you into a WWE Hall of Famer. I'm talking about Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze, I think, would fit into the AEW roster better than anybody, given his size and given what he does in a ring. You need people for these guys to beat. You're so top heavy on the card at this point. You need talents that can go out there and get beat and still get themselves over. And that's literally what Tyler Breeze has done his entire career in the WWE. And I think he's only like 32 at this point. So he's actually younger than a lot of the AEW talent. I think I'd bring in Tyler.
Interesting. All right. I did not even think of him. I forgot about him.
I totally forgot about him.
Walter Cruz.
So in that sense, would you bring Fandango too?
Only if we call him Johnny Curtis. Like I was a big proponent of turning Johnny Curtis heel and just going with Johnny Curtis and Tyler Breeze and like dropping the whole Fashion Police thing, because I think both of those guys are fantastic talents that are just the way that they were booked and the gimmicks that they were given were just absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. Okay, Walter, you're now you're back up.
I mean, obviously the biggest free agent is Wyatt. Like, but I don't know what exactly they would do. What's his contract expire? Right near Halloween? Right near the next pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
His 90-day no clause?
Right.
I guess my question to you guys, because obviously Bray Wyatt is like the sexy pick. Does he fit the AEW roster? Like what they do in AEW, does he fit?
I mean, that's a very good point.
They should make him fit. AEW needs to appeal to more people. Well, they got the diehards hooked.
Well, Virtue, you look back at when Matt Hardy came in, he was doing the broken stuff, and then I guess
no crowd, pandemic,
with the no delete audience, so they changed his character up to make it more realistic. Bray Wyatt is very much like a supernatural character, so I get what you're saying. Like, would that fit in with AEW? And let's be real here. Bray Wyatt wasn't exactly known for having the best matches. Now, maybe the gimmick was limiting him. Who knows? But yeah, that's a very good point. Does he fit in with?
I would say the Fiend didn't have great matches. Bray Wyatt had some really good matches when he was Bray Wyatt. He did. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose. Those were good matches.
Yeah, the 2017 Elimination Chamber, that shocked me. I did not think Wyatt was going to win that. When he won, I popped hard. So... But
back to you, Walter. You said Bray. You want to elaborate?
He's so creative and with this character that I think he'll make it work. But if Khan's a smart business guy, he might let Impact sign him, and there's an open
Shad Khan is definitely a smart business guy. Correct.
If you let Impact sign him, yeah. If you let Impact Wrestling sign him, you got the open door policy, so you can use Wyatt that way and save yourself money. So I think he. Based on what Impact is doing, he would fit more in Impact than AEW.
I agree with that.
We'll see. But again, the wrestlers really want to go to Impact. I mean, especially at the level of like Bray Wyatt. So I don't know. Yes, Jargo.
The other problem with Bray Wyatt that nobody really talks about is there's been some backstage issues with Bray Wyatt over the course of the years. And I think that's what did him in WWE more than anything. If Bray's head is right, then yeah, absolutely bring him in. But if it's not,
well, it's contingent to what those backstage issues are. If it's him not liking shitty creative from WWE, okay, whatever, right? He just wasn't going to put up with it anymore. If it's something more unprofessional that we don't know about, then you're absolutely right. Aaron, your thoughts?
We do have a $2 super chat from Dwayne Atkinson. He says, "Bring back the Fashion Police. That was money, in my opinion."
All they do is get themselves over.
Well, we saw how well 2.0 worked out in AEW, and they were doing practically nothing in NXT. I could see Tyler Breeze coming in, and they would do more with him than what he was doing in WWE for the past 4 or 5 years. Same thing with Fandango, Johnny Curtis. Anyways, another guy, you guys mentioned Bray Wyatt. Braun Strowman is another one. But again, does he fit in with AEW? Because I feel like with him, he's the kind of guy that if he shows up on TV, he's destroying everybody on that roster pretty much. Like, because AEW has so many small guys, like, who can you really put him against? Maybe Lance Archer, maybe Luchasaurus. There's a couple of guys, but most of their roster are going to look super tiny next to this guy. So how do you book Braun Strowman in AEW when there's so many smaller guys there? It's really hard to say. My gut feeling is still that Braun's going to end up back in WWE. I feel like he will be back there at some point. Bray Wyatt, I think the jury is out on. I could see him going back. I could also see AEW as a possibility. Other guys, we have several people that were released from NXT. Bronson Reed is one of those guys that I feel like Impact's probably more likely for him, but I would not rule out an appearance in AEW. And we'll see. Ric Flair has yet to appear on AEW, and I think that that's probably going to happen in the very near future. Not going to spoil anything, but there's possibly a clue that he'll be showing up soon. And other than that, maybe Lio Rush comes back. Anthony asked about Lio Rush, and Tony Khan actually tweeted today about Lio Rush. There's a possibility we might see Lio Rush back in AEW at some point, but
if you want to watch Lio Rush, tune in to New Japan Strong Saturday nights on New Japan World.
Well, there you go.
Isn't he injured?
I thought he retired again.
I thought he had an injury, and that's what forced him to retire.
Who knows?
Wrestlers never really truly retire. I mean, yeah.
A wrestler retired is like being comic book dead.
That's a great point. I'm throwing out there. I don't care what Meltzer says, and neither company wants her. Tessa Blanchard's gold, and whatever one does pull the trigger is going to have. I'm sorry, their women's division is going to get to another level. Just when you already think some of these women's divisions, with what WWE's done, right, putting the women in the main event at WrestleMania has already got there. Tessa Blanchard, to me, WWE grabs her, that could be a big, hey, but again, I know they want to build their own stars or whatever, but it's all still give people second chances. And, if you bring somebody in and they're unprofessional, you let them go. Yeah. That's how you do it. But, I'm interested on this new NXT. I really want to see how Vince McMahon and company is going to put their twist on that. And I see people out there, even if they're older, from the past, Enzo, Tessa Blanchard, who did her stuff in Impact, you want to rebuild a brand, bring in some polarizing figures. But that's just my piece on that. Are we ready to move on, gentlemen?
I think WWE would ruin Tessa. They don't know what to do when they have gold in their hand. They keep aside from Roman, and they mess a lot of people up.
I don't know. Not necessarily. I don't know.
Now,
if you're good, cream always rises to the top, right? That's what Macho Man said.
That's true.
Good point. Peter sent in a $5 super chat, says, can you see Brian Cage moving to WWE? He fits the mold.
Yes.
Lesnar would be fine. Yeah, that's another thing we haven't really talked about. At some point, if Tony Khan lets some people go and some AEW contracts expire, we might see people go to WWE. For all the negative things people say about WWE, there's still tons of people that want to work there. And Brian Cage might be one of those guys. He's starting to get lost in the shuffle. And there was something on Twitter with Melissa Santos posting comments about him being lost in the shuffle. He could end up in WWE at some point. He definitely fits the mold. And the guy can go. He's pretty talented for a guy of his size. And I could see that happening. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, save this for later. Well, we're doing it now. But who would win in a fight, Happy Corbin or Happy Gilmore? Who's an Adam Sandler fan in this room right now?
I believe the correct answer is Bob Barker.
There you go.
I agree with that.
There you go.
All right. We're caught up now.
We're moving on. PWI 500, it's kayfabe. It's whatever they want to do to create a buzz. So first thing I'm going to say is Roman Reigns has headlined their list as number one in 2016. Been there. He's been there. They decided to choose to put Kenny Omega up there this year at number one. Roman at number two. And the list goes on. And I think WWE has 4 in the top 10. Now, Jargo pointed something out to me earlier, which I knew this was going to be part of my discussion tonight. Their year runs from July 1st to the end of June, okay? If we look at that last year, that excluded Roman did nothing last year in July, and in August, he only came back at SummerSlam, okay? Up to this year, ending in June, Roman's match against Edge at Money in the Bank then didn't count. His match against John Cena at SummerSlam didn't count, and his match on SmackDown against Finn Balor didn't count. And yet he still got up to number 2. Kenny Omega had all the titles from the promotions. Okay, whatever, AAA title, Impact title, whatever. I don't think Kenny Omega is the number 1 wrestler in the world the past year, right? I'm fine with Roman at number 2, even though I thought if it was kayfabe and the way he's been booked, that he should be number one. But Jargo, there's somebody else in that top 10 list I think should be number one. I'm actually not saying Roman should be number one here. I'm just saying Kenny Omega shouldn't be. Who do you think in that top 10 list I would put number one?
Wow. I wish I had the list here in front of me.
Or what's your assessment on the number one wrestler in the world?
I have no problem with Kenny Omega being named the greatest wrestler in the world, according to the PWI, because I know how much kayfabe is a part of it. That to me is really what pushes Kenny over the top. He had the championships from 3 different companies. He was going all over the place, defending said titles, anchor of Dynamite. I get it. Makes total sense to me. Roman Reigns at number 2. Don't really have any kind of a problem with that either. The time period is what really does it for me, because all of the other contenders to me missed out on time at the first part of the voting process. So I don't really have an issue with it. Who do you think is number one then?
Okay. So, and I get it. Like, kayfabe matters, right? That's why I think Roman should be number one, but I'm not going to bitch about it like everyone thought I was going to. But match quality, if this is the Meltzer match rating narrative, Kenny Omega is effing overrated. He is not that great of a wrestler. And I like Kenny Omega when he was in the Bullet Club, but he's always relied on the Okadas and all of those people that he's worked with. And in AEW, he really hasn't had it. So, and I saw Meltzer say the knock on Reigns was match quality. And that bothered me. I think if we're going to use that as a heavy stepping stone of who's number one on that list, and he doesn't want to put Reigns there because of that, Finn Balor is the best wrestler in the world from all the matches I watched in the past 12 months or during that 12-month period. And he was NXT champion. Yes, they lost to AEW in the ratings and all that stuff. But if Meltzer wants to push match quality is not because what Meltzer rates a match. Finn Balor is number one wrestler in the world. I know you're a big Finn Balor fan, and he was number 8. So you have any thoughts on that?
I am a big Finn Balor fan, and I thought that he would be higher on the list because of the year that he has had. If we are taking match quality into it, to me, Shingo Takagi is the best wrestler in the world.
That was the other guy I figured you would have picked.
And I don't think it's close. But Shingo's main run didn't really start until January. So I can understand, but if Shingo's not number one next year, if he continues on this tear that he has been on over the course of 2021, then we're definitely going to have some words.
Dude, Roman number 2, Finn Balor number 8, who I think is better than Kenny Omega. Now WWE is they're going to have Demon Balor most likely versus Reigns at some point, and they're going to have 2 of the guys that I think should be in the number 1 spot in a match. And yes, Reigns did beat Finn Balor, but he didn't beat Demon Finn Balor, who has never lost on the main roster, correct, Aaron Riff?
Those 2 guys have incredible chemistry together, and I would even go further. I would somehow get that title off of Roman Reigns and onto Finn Balor. Everything they are doing with Roman Reigns does not require the WWE Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Roman doesn't need the belt. Rock versus Roman doesn't need the belt. Get 2 programs out of it. Give the title back to the Demon.
I'll do you one better, but I have a feeling this Demon match is going to happen sooner rather than later. Do these little teases every now and again. Make fans forget about it for a while and then do it with Roman with the red light. Let Roman dominate. Beat Lesnar. Get to WrestleMania. It would be nice if they do have the deal with The Rock and he can do that. Then that guy to finally beat Roman is Demon Finn Balor. I don't know. I said that before already. Aaron, what do you think?
I think Roman Reigns should be number 1, no doubt about it, but that's just my opinion.
Argue with that.
Now, let me explain why Kenny Omega was number 1, Impact Wrestling. And you look at that top 10 list, Rich Swann is number 10. I think Impact Wrestling is being considered very relevant by Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which...
That's a good point.
I mean, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, doesn't make a sound. That's what I think about Impact Wrestling.
No, but if the PWI people watch it, they know about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at their numbers on Access TV, and 100,000 people watch Impact Wrestling, but they give Impact Wrestling some weight. Thus, Kenny Omega winning the Impact title, holding 3 titles, that holds a lot of weight. But when you look at Roman Reigns' body of work in kayfabe, won the title Payback right after SummerSlam, held the title for almost that entire voting period, beat top guys. And the thing about Omega is almost every single title defense was with outside interference. Reigns had a lot of outside interference too, but he did win a few of his matches clean. And to me, that holds some weight too in a kayfabe standpoint.
That's a great point, Aaron, because I think Meltzer was saying a lot of Reigns' finishes were dirty, but yet you pointed that out about a lot of Omega's finishes.
Almost every Omega title defense has the Elite running down and interfering. And yeah, Jey Uso did interfere in a lot of Reigns' matches, but Reigns did beat Bryan clean before Bryan left, and Reigns, he stacked Edge and Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, the Super Bowl of wrestling, which I feel should hold some weight too. Now, you know what? If Kenny Omega went to New Japan and was at the Tokyo Dome, I'd say that would hold some weight too. I would give that credit as well, but he did not. And Reigns was part of a lot of the big moments in WWE, carrying SmackDown, in my opinion. Best character in wrestling. You look at the matches, Kevin Owens, they had some great matches, and the WrestleMania match was great. The Cesaro match was great. The Jey Uso match was great too. Great storytelling, just everything about Roman Reigns. Best year of his career. I don't think anybody's had a better year than Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns is number 1 with all due respect to Kenny Omega, but Kenny should definitely be number 2. I think number 1 and number 2, there's not much to debate about. Both of them deserve those top 2 spots, in my opinion.
You brought up Rich Swann and that they give Impact all this weight. If I'm Roosh, I'm pissed. If I'm Nick Aldis, I'm pissed. I mean, both of those guys held their respective titles basically this entire voting period too.
Point.
That's true, but it's also the stage you're performing on, and you look at Walter too, who had that long title reign. So
Walter did not qualify.
Now, why is that?
Because Walter didn't have enough matches, because NXT UK was on hiatus for so long. He did not. You have to have at least 8 matches over the course of the year to qualify, and Walter only had like 6.
All right, well, fair
enough. So qualify
but...
what? To be number 1?
No, to even qualify for the list. The PWI even came out and said, you're right. He should.
Wasn't Walter on the list?
Yeah, but he should not have been. The PWI has come out and admitted that they screwed that up. He should not have been on the list at all.
Well, speaking of Walter, we'll come back to Aaron in the Super Chats. Walter, what do you think on this topic here?
What do you think about Walter? Walter?
I like Walter, but like he said, he didn't have enough matches, so he shouldn't have been on the list at all. I think it was a little disrespectful to put Finn Balor number 8. Finn Balor actually put my interest back into NXT when he came back, and he carried that company through the pandemic. He carried NXT. He had that belt. He wasn't the smiley face guy that he was on SmackDown. He became the real Finn Balor and showed what he was capable of. But I mean, you see what shirt I'm wearing, so you know who I think was number 1. And the thing is, for me, Kenny Omega is a good wrestler, but he's always been part of some faction, and I've never seen him just go out on his own. He's either had a mouthpiece or he's involved in some kind of faction. I want to see him on his own carry the company on his own. Most of his matches were due to some kind of fishy finish, so I think Roman carried the company. And the other thing is, Roman has more appeal. Like, my wife doesn't watch wrestling, but guess who her favorite wrestler is?
Dude, you made my night. I mean, I did not tell you to say that.
No.
That's my point. He has more
That's
appeal.
the problem with Roman Reigns. Right there. That's the problem. Roman Reigns is a goddamn heel. Your wife shouldn't like Roman Reigns.
Well, when he takes his shirt off, she can't help herself. But
there's the people. Here's the deal, Jargo. I get it. Right? Heels are supposed to heel. There's people like me that like the heels. I don't give an F, but I don't hold that against Roman not being a good heel. And women have always liked heels that look like, I mean, look at Rick Rude. So I'm going to kind of like jar at you a little bit on that for the Rick Rude effect. You know what I mean?
I do, but
okay.
This is exactly like one of the biggest segments that I heard people talking about on AEW Dynamite last night was the Adam Cole thing. And why would you have Adam Cole go off on Tony Schiavone like that? Because how in the hell else is Adam Cole going to get heat? That's the only way Adam Cole's going to get heat. If you insult the mascot of AEW, the frail old man with the Coke bottle glasses for hitting on your wife.
Right? And he's still got
how delusional is
that?
I mean, that's why he did that. And it makes total sense. If you're going to get him over as a heel, you got to have him heel.
Right.
Roman Reigns, to me, he's the most popular that he's ever been. And that makes him kind of a shitty heel.
It's the same issue with Becky. No one's going to boo her. They're trying to make her heel, and too many people love her.
But you know what? We're in the world. I mean, that's the world we're in today with heel wrestlers because the fans are so much into the business. MJF still, people like him for being a great heel. That we're in that problem. I mean, we are. We truly are. It takes a Dan Lambert. It takes like a Dan Lambert to really make people hate you.
NWO made being heel cool. Back in
that's true, and then DX didn't help any. Yeah,
exactly.
So your wife liked Roman. You put Finn Balor number one. Man, I'm liking you. You're really hitting this topic. You're hitting a home run right here, Walter, with me.
Yeah, you're winning the brownie points to get another spot on the No DQ review and put Jeff in the green room again.
Anything else you want to add to this before we move to the main event?
Yeah, Jeff is giving me a hard time about Impact. Guess what's on right now?
The football game, the first football game of the year.
Impact Wrestling is on right now, and we're doing this. That's how relevant Impact is at this stage.
And we have more.
I only watched Impact because it came with Sling TV. I didn't even know what channel it was on. It just like happened to pop up one day.
I give them credit. They've improved their product, but they still have Josh Matthews around, which turns me off right there. I give them credit for having a better product, but they're in such a bad spot right now because the wrestling market is oversaturated between all of the TV that WWE has. AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling is available to American fans, and Ring of Honor, PWG. Like there's all these other promotions, and Impact just is not.
But there are people, Aaron, that watch all of it. I know it's a very select group. But there are people that watch wrestling 7 days a week.
Clearly, the people that do the PWI 500. So more power to them for their.
We got some super chats before we move to that Kevin Owens main event.
Didn't Rich Swann lose to Kenny Omega? Like to me, that would take him out of the top 10 in the whole kayfabe aspect of it. But
dude, Orange Cassidy was number 21.
Where was Riddle, by the way?
30s, maybe. Something like that.
He should have been higher. Riddle had a really good year, all things considered, in my opinion. Like, as far as NXT call-ups go, he's been up there as far as guys that have gotten pushed pretty hard on TV and actually have some relevant storylines. All right. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat. He says, is AEW trying to gimmick Rude with Peter Avalon? I have not been watching Peter Avalon stuff, so I cannot comment on that.
Don't know.
Rude?
Anybody else? I don't know.
I guess if he's saying, like, is Peter Avalon being patterned after Rick Rude? But I haven't been watching it, so
well, if you go back to Peter Avalon when he was at like Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, he played a character called Pretty Peter Avalon. And he was basically just a giant chicken shit heel who held their mid title for about a year and a half until he finally lost the belt in about 12 seconds to a guy named Bad Dude Tito. And the place just absolutely blew up. Like everybody was so happy to finally see Peter Avalon get his after weaseling his way into all these title defenses over the course of like a year and a half. It was a fantastic.
Was that like a Honky Tonk Man Intercontinental title thing? Yeah,
very much so. It was absolutely wonderful. I love that run of Peter Avalon.
All right, we got a few more super chats here. Let me get to those, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat. Says Roman is number one. Even Kenny acknowledged him on Twitter. Did he? I guess he did kind of reference Reigns. He said,
yeah, but not like
competition was a bigger dog.
Yeah, Roman Reigns doesn't give a crap about that list.
With the AEW fans, Is there anything Kenny Omega could do to get more heel heat than acknowledge Roman Reigns?
It's a good point. That's a great observation.
I was telling Virtue this. If Roman Reigns won the PWI 500, would they have plugged it on SmackDown? Probably not.
Absolutely.
No. And he did in 2016, and I don't ever remember them saying. No, Roman won it in 2016.
Did they acknowledge it on WWE?
Oh, I don't think so. Not that I can remember. No.
Yeah, that's the thing. AEW, they went out of their way to reference it on Dynamite. I don't think that they would have said anything on SmackDown if Reigns was number one. So
no, it doesn't matter.
I could have made it part of his acknowledgement gimmick, though. You just said you.
Like I wanted him number one, and I was petitioning for it the past couple of weeks. But when it was number two, and then I kind of like, and Aaron suggested, with Roman number one, what does it really do? It creates, like the Kenny Omega and AEW fans will go ballistic, but the headlines are putting Kenny Omega number one, CM Punk's there. It just made more sense for PWI's customer is the AEW fan. I mean, more so than the WWE fan. And that made sense.
WWE might not acknowledge it, but you can bet your ass Paul Heyman would have.
That's what, and I'm okay with Roman being number two because Heyman might have some fun with this.
Yeah, anyway, Aaron, we've talked enough about PWI. It's all about the NoDQ.com year-end awards. To me, that is what it's all about.
Yeah,
and the people that vote on that, they know what they're talking about. They understand wrestling, so I'm looking forward to that. Matt Helms sent in a $5 super chat. Says, "Where is the Monster Abyss? He's still producing work, right? Or
I think it's WWE."
Yeah, backstage producer.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish they had done more with him. I really liked those segments with AJ Styles last year. Kind of bummed out there was never really any follow-up on that.
Ready for the main event?
Almost. We got one more. More super chat here from Mr. Anderson. He said that MJF promo last night was gold. I agree. I really enjoyed that. MJF is always an entertaining fella. He always pushes the buttons and one of the few true heels in wrestling, in my opinion.
He has to be careful, though. He has to be careful because ripping on Cincinnati is a real babyface move.
Oh. Yeah, well, I've never been there, so I'm not going to judge.
That's a good point. Yeah, you got to do their homework.
Everybody rips on them over the Bengals.
All right, main event time. Kevin Owens, right, put some tweet up, the coordinates to Mount Rushmore, the landmark, which references him, Young Bucks, Adam Cole at some point in their careers. Let's face it, there's going to be more people to go to AEW. This is a very cliquey thing. Kevin Owens has made his money in WWE, who's treated him well, by the way. He debuted beating John Cena. Am I correct? He was the Universal Champion when they did that little thing with Triple H kind of pulling that swerve there. He had a great program with Chris Jericho. I know by the time they got to WrestleMania, Vince McMahon kind of shit on them, where he put the match and stuff. But Owens has had a pretty damn good WWE career. At this point, he's just going to go wrestle with his friends, and I totally expect him to leave. To me, there's nothing here. I still think there's going to be a couple of guys that let their contract expire and go to AEW. I think Kevin Owens is one of them, maybe Sami Zayn. Let's go around the horn here. I don't have much to say about this, but I'm sure the No DQ Galaxy does. Walter, I'll start with you here.
Well, in the wrestling world, we all know to never say never, but I don't see him going to AEW. I think he's comfortable where he's at. He's a WWE guy. What proved it is, wasn't there a rumor earlier this year he was supposed to take time off? And he took maybe a week off and came right back. So I don't know if he was doing Vince a favor or something happened where he didn't take his time off and he came back.
Dude, and he went over Shane McMahon in a program, right?
Yeah.
So did Braun Strowman.
Exactly. Well, that's why I feel like Braun is probably going to come back. I mean, they just don't put anybody over Braun Strowman, and then he gets cut. So Owens, like I said, great, right, Walter? I'm probably missing stuff.
He's had his
WWE career.
Jericho, the first festival.
Well, yeah, no, I mentioned that. Yeah,
the highest rating Raw segment in that year at all. So K Owens, he's got nothing to complain about. I don't see him leaving. I think this is just clickbait, something to get people talking about him. Maybe he's trying to renew his contract or get something added to his contract or get time off or just test the waters. There's nothing wrong with testing the waters.
Good point. I mean, that was a great point about the clickbait and making himself relevant again while he's in the WWE bubble. Jargo, what do you think?
I think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to go to AEW. Kevin Owens is 37, but he debuted in 2000. So he's 20 years into his career. That's a lot of bumps, especially the way that Kevin Owens works. Yeah. I do think that he is going to go and finish his career with his friends and package pile drive everybody. You know, I mean, that just seems like a foregone conclusion to me. I would not be shocked to see him stay with WWE. I wouldn't, like AJ Styles. AJ has said that he's going to finish his career with the WWE. He's got that job security. He's getting a good paycheck, and he's looking at life after wrestling too. I mean, he's looking at all the specials that he can get brought in for and keep getting paydays throughout the course of his career. We don't know what the long-term effects of AEW are going to be. So there is still a bit more job security there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Owens stay. I mean, WWE was always his lifelong dream goal. All that said, I think he's going to go to AEW. And if he wants to go to AEW, then good for Kevin Owens. There's nothing left for him in WWE. There's nothing left for him to do other than main event WrestleMania. Other than that, he's done everything.
Which I truly believe him and Jericho should have got that spot that year. That feud was so hot, man. Boy, did he get. I see people.
Universal title originally, right? And then
and then Goldberg came along. Yeah. Somebody in the chat said, "Rest in peace, WWE." That's a thing. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I mean, their worst case scenario. It's never going to happen. It's never. Ever going to happen.
You lose those TV deals, and rest in peace WWE. Never going to happen.
They'll sell to Disney. They'll sell to Disney, or they'll become a full streaming only network. Which, you know, at that point, then we can look at them differently. But it's just, I don't know. I guess it's hard to forecast when we just don't know, because they actually do have a lot of avenues to go down. But that's the thing, right? As good as AEW is with all this buzz, they still have to grow. Now, this number was encouraging with Dynamite this week, but they're doing 4 pay-per-views a year, okay? $50 a pop. If All Out is the record buy, 200,000, dude, WWE, that was a fart in church for WWE pay-per-views. You know what I mean? So there's still a market for WWE globally. They're okay. The smart mark crowd maybe is drifting away from them. And Jargo, I truly believe Vince is changing WWE to make it that 7 to 12-year-old demo so they can condition the next group of fans to grow to be over 50, like their average age for their shows are, to watch WWE. And that's why they're alienating the diehards with the loudest voice, because they're focusing on conditioning those 7 to 12-year-olds to think WWE is the end-all, be-all. And I don't know how I got off topic, but who else needs to talk about Kevin Owens here? You, Aaron?
Well, I think it's 50-50. I would not be shocked either way. I think he should do whatever makes him happy. Who knows what is going through his mind right now, but I'm sure he's going to play both sides. If I was him, I would definitely throw out the tweets and put out the little teases to hopefully get a better deal from WWE. He's been doing well. I've seen people say that his WWE career has been disappointing. I think it's been great. He beat Cena. He's been in WrestleMania, high-profile matches. Yeah, not the main event, but he's always been consistently in a pretty big storyline and utilized on television.
The feud with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, the Rollins feud. He had that big moment jumping off the WrestleMania sign. All the matches with Sami Zayn. He could go to AEW, but again, we talked about it earlier, how crowded the roster is getting. Guys might start getting lost in the shuffle. Like, at some point, you might be better off in WWE because there's potentially more spots open up at this point to be on television. And WWE doesn't like to use a lot of people. They seem to focus on like 10 to 15 people, put them on TV, and then everybody else is just a bit player. Owens has consistently been one of those 10 to 15 guys being used. So does he want to risk losing that spot? Like if he's going to continue to be pushed, then he might want to consider staying. But either way, I see him doing well, whether it's WWE or AEW, and I think he's going to get a great He's going to get a great deal wherever he goes, and he's going to be successful. So he's one of the good ones. Really nice guy. Sami Zayn, another guy who all around great performer and well liked behind the scenes. And I hope whatever happens with Sami Zayn too, he's happy and he's doing well.
Well, but also, yeah. I mean, you also got to look at some of the other guys that nobody's talking about. Like, what about Seth Rollins?
Lifer, him and Becky are locked in like I think AJ Styles are.
Though, like,
I don't think so.
You look at Kane and not Kane, but I'm thinking Kane, but Big Show was who I was thinking of, and Christian. Like you thought that those guys were WWE lifers, and they went to AEW. Anybody could end up jumping ship at this point.
Well, and let's remember, Tyler Black came up with all those guys too. What about Cesaro? I mean, I'm looking at the guys from that Ring of Honor generation that came up together. Any one of them, I could see making that jump to AEW.
If anyone would jump, I think Cesaro would need to. The way they've been treating him, I mean, he just got pushed, and look how fast it fell.
Yeah, that's true.
When my contract came up, I would jump.
Yeah, Cesaro is not one of those guys like Owens that is always in the fold. Like, he seems to be on again, off again with his pushes, and he'll disappear and then he'll come back. And yeah, I could see Cesaro possibly jumping. He would be more likely to me than Owens, but really anybody at this point, with a few exceptions, like Roman Reigns, I think he's pretty much a WWE lifer.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock, yeah.
You don't think Brock would jump if Shad Khan offered him more money than Vince McMahon?
Well, Shad would have to come in and manipulate.
I don't think they would. I
don't think they would either. But I think Brock
would give him. They won't give him the.
I think WWE would match it.
I think Brock would go to the highest bidder,
and that would be WWE. I think
yes, he would not want to lose
WWE schedule. I don't think AEW would give him that part-time schedule like that.
No, the Saudi Arabia schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Any get rid of it. Let's close this show. I smell lasagna cooking, Aaron. Come on.
All right. Mr. Anderson sent in $2, said Kevin Owens would benefit in AEW more than WWE. Well, sometimes timing is everything. We'll have to wait and see what the landscape is in a couple months. Like, his contract is reportedly not over until early 2022. So there's still time. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because apparently there are other wrestlers that potentially have restructured contracts, and their contracts might be up sooner than expected.
At some point, we'll go, Aaron, it's going to happen the other way. At some point, it's going to happen the other way. Because look at WCW. They got all those WWE legends, built WCW, built Nitro, and then the people flocked back to WWE when WCW was too stacked or too crowded. I mean, that happens. It's going to happen the other way at some point.
Eventually AEW is going to have their own April 15th coming up. They keep signing everybody. It's going to be a mass cut somewhere.
Dude, Shad Khan is going to tell Tony how to run a business at some point. He gave him his $100 million, right? And so far, Tony's done what he's done. But at some point, Shad's going to want to say, where is the green? And I mean, it's going to happen at some point.
Well, if they see any red, it's going to get too many cuts.
Here's one thing that nobody's talking about. The CM Punk t-shirt has outsold the Bullet Club t-shirt, and it took all of 3 days to do it. I did the math. 70,000 t-shirts at $35 a pop. That's $2.5 million in 3 days.
And CM Punk, you know how in the WWE, they only get not all of them, but the bigger stars like John Cena probably got a bigger cut. Dude, AEW ain't making much off of CM Punk shirts. CM Punk's making most of that money. I guarantee. I don't know. This is speculation, but I'd love to know those facts. But we'll never hear those truths.
That AEW merch machine is something that I think a lot of people forget about.
Yeah, t-shirt
WWE still sells good merch too, though. Look at that Roman shirt. That's hot off the press. Bloodline, baby.
The only problem with WWE shirts is they all suck.
Yeah, a lot of
Bloodline. Don't say all. Once in a while.
I say that in the quality of the shirt. Like the shirt quality itself sucks. They're way too heavy. They're way too thick. Pro Wrestling Tees blows them out of the freaking water.
I like a heavier, thicker shirt, though.
Yeah,
but I see what you're saying.
If you wash them too many, they start fading. If you wash them too much, like my
Which
Daniel
ones?
Bryan shirt, the WWE shirts. The Daniel Bryan shirt, you can't see my.
They all do.
Yeah,
they all do. You need But anyway, any other super chats? I'm hungry.
Yeah. We do have a few more. Mo Cameron,
get them over with.
$2.79 super chat. By the way, Virtue, check the private chat real quick. Mo Cameron says Borked Laser doesn't bring anything to the table. Anybody want to comment on that?
That's just wrong.
Yeah,
well, he's a troll, so I just wanted to see if anybody would take the bait.
That's just factually inaccurate.
What am I checking? What am I checking? I don't see any notes, Aaron.
I said something in the StreamYard private chat.
I don't know how to use the StreamYard private. Oh, wait, I see. Okay, I see it.
Okay, Matt Helm sent in a $5 super chat. Says, "Do you think Paige should go to AEW again? If she wants to, that's on her. If they're able to make her a good offer and she wants to do it, and they'll let her wrestle, then yeah. I mean,
medically clear, why not?
As long as she is medically cleared, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, she should ultimately go wherever she's happy, and if she can wrestle again and she's cleared, then yeah, she should try and go somewhere where she can be utilized.
Here's what we're gonna do, okay, Aaron? I'm gonna bow out. You can close the show. Bring Jeff in. Bring Jeff in to take my spot to close out the show. Because I'm hungry. Follow me on Twitter at @NoDQ_Virtue. I've moderated this thing. I've said everything I wanted to. You can bring Jeff on, right? And I can go eat. Because I don't know how this NoDQ Galaxy is going to troll me tonight and super chat the rest of the show. Because the last show was 2 hours. And Jargo, you can probably jet too if you have to. But anyway, bring Jeff on. And good night, everybody.
All right. Whoa, what happened here? Virtue turned into Jeff Meacham, and now Jeff is gone. We gave him a form to be on, and he disappeared. He bowed out on us.
He was ranting, too. I don't know if you saw some of his comments.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Jeff is here. Welcome to the show, Jeff Meacham. Better late than never.
Hour, don't mind me or anything. You know. How do you let these jackoffs into this chat room of yours? Jesus Christ.
I was reading what you said.
Oh.
All right,
Can
Jeff.
you
We can hear you just fine. Now we have a few super chats. So Jeff, since you haven't been able to talk other than the chat.
That Brock Lesnar one really pissed Jeff off. I don't know if you read his comment after that.
All right. Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat, says, will I review NXT on Tuesday? Yes, I'm going to review the new NXT. I'm going to be back Tuesday night, so I will give you my thoughts on that. And James sent in a $5 super chat, says, Raw is in Boston next week. My kids, ages 10 and 7, said, nah, it's boring and want to go to a local TRP show instead. That is telling.
Exact same thing. He has no desire to go except for when WrestleMania is in here a year and a half from now.
Pardon my ignorance, but what is TRP?
Top Rope. I forget the
Top Rope promotion?
Probably.
My kids aren't into it either. If it isn't SmackDown or a pay-per-view, they don't want to go.
My 8-year-old only wants to watch AEW and New Japan.
All right, well, see, there you go. We've all got kids around the same age that are already turned off by the product. That says everything that WWE's doing wrong. I'm not going to disagree with WWE doing the wrong things because they're targeting the kids, so they say, but the three of us have kids in the age range, and they're not hitting the mark at all. So,
all right, Jeff.
Superhero.
Matt Helm sent in a $10 super chat, says, hello, Jeff, Michigan. Hello, Jeff, Michigan. How are you? All right, Jeff, I want to get your pipe bomb. So anything you got to get off your chest, let's hear it now. You got the mic.
Okay. I have a real issue with you and Virtue just ragging on Impact for the sake of Impact. Oh, Impact's on right now. You choose the time slot. You're the boss, dipshit.
They took my spot. We've been doing this for years.
No. You have not been at the 8 o'clock the whole time. You were at 7 o'clock for a long time. Virtue and you moved today. Don't give me that crap.
You know, Impact moves so frequently, it's hard to keep track of what time slot they're in.
It's always going to be an excuse for you ragging on Impact. If you watch the in-ring product and ignore the fact that Josh Matthews, who, by the way, is on TV right now, is there, it's a decent product. I'm not saying it's the greatest wrestling product on the planet, because it's not, by any means.
Okay, but let's be honest. Josh Matthews is only not on TV because everybody said he was the worst commentator in all of pro wrestling, and Josh Matthews said, "Hold my beer, here's Matt Stryker."
No, Josh Matthews is on TV because he's a douchebag and people recognize him. They took him off TV.
I'd rather listen to Josh Matthews than Matt Stryker, and that's a pretty low bar.
Well, okay. I've met both of them more than once. Matt's an actually decent person, which is probably why he has a job, because he's decent to people. Josh is an asshole. So, anyway, here I am.
That's true.
Isn't D'Lo Brown a commentator over there?
I'm sorry?
Isn't D'Lo Brown one of the commentators?
I like D'Lo, but as a commentator, not so much. But anyway.
Yeah.
Does he do the head wiggle?
I haven't seen him on camera, because when I tune in Impact, they've already panned by him. So,
all right, James sent in a $2 super chat. Says TRP is infamous for the Scott Hall drunk incident.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. I actually just watched the Scott Hall network documentary right before I went and saw Scott and Kevin last weekend. Man, that was a rough segment. That was tough to watch again.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to see if you want to take the troll bait here from Mo Camera. He says, "Hey, Aaron, I'm still not sold on Darby Allin and Jungle Boy. They're both 90 pounds soaking wet." What do you think about that?
I'm not going to disagree with either one of those guys being – I'm not sold on them either. I like that Punk chose Darby. It gave Darby the rub. With all due respect to the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy got more of the rub because he came into – wrestling fan existence after his dad passed away. That was like, oh, poor kid, let's give him a break. I'm just saying.
Matt Helms sent in a $5 super chat. Says, "Hello, Jeff, how are you?"
I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you very much. And I also appreciate when you super chat in my room. You don't give me 50, but I'll take the 20 any day when you come in, because 20 is everything for me. Like I said, you put me over the top for this month, so I really appreciate that, Matt. Thank you.
And Mr. Anderson did send in a $2 super chat. I think we said this already. Kevin Owens would benefit more in
you did mention
than
this.
WWE.
Like I said in the chat above before you brought me in, you and I saw Kevin and Sammy on the Indies 15 or more years ago. They've put their time in. Kevin's, 30, how old? 37, you said?
37, yep.
Yeah, see, he's our age, Aaron. And he's, still, if he's not going to get what he wants out of the WWE, let him go have fun with his friends and write his career out the last couple of years. Shit, I've ragged on Kevin for a long time for personal reasons, but I am happy that he got his chance with WWE. He had that thing with Jericho, which was just over like Rover. Let him go party with, Adam and Brian and Punk and everybody. Seriously.
What about Generico? Should Generico make that jump?
It really depends. And again, this is me, after the fact, hindsight booking. I don't know if El Generico gets over as a character in 2022 or whenever he goes over there. If they bring over something like Sammy's doing, thing is they can't really go full blown Sami Zayn, because that character is very much a Vince McMahon thing that he's developed with Sammy. So I don't know how that works. And Generico is a fun character on a small scale. You put that on big TV, it's like, it's not that funny.
Well, would you rather have Generico on your roster or Orange Cassidy in 2021?
As a person, I don't know Orange Cassidy's, and I love Sammy. He and I have been buds for a while. So as a person, I don't know. As a character, the Generico character is definitely about the same par as my liking with Orange Cassidy's character. I think that thing is so stupid. I've said it from the get-go. I don't know how it's over. It makes my head bleed. It does. I don't understand it. I don't.
All right, so we have a rare occurrence here where there's no Virtue on the No DQ review. This never happens. People have been saying, I've had comments on Twitter and whatnot, people saying you got to get rid of Virtue, even though Virtue's been on pretty much every single No DQ review except for that. I just love
that he sat there in the chat room before we went on the air. Well, I don't want to go over an hour, so keep Jeff off. We're an hour and 20 in, you asshole. Anyway.
All right, Nick Lavin sent in a $7 super chat. Says, "Since we talk about Impact, Don West's cancer is now in remission. Great news. Nice review tonight, fellas.
Aaron, you want a pipe bomb? I'll give you a pipe bomb. Aaron and our other co-host and I go to TNA Turning Point 2004.
Right.
We've had Mike on the show prior to this, right? We go to Fridays after the show. Mike Tenay can't say 2 words to me, like he's bigger than, hot shit. Don West is all over all 3 of us, loving us and being nice to us. Dude, I'm so glad Don's getting better and he's in remission. It was very interesting how the guy that gave me my nickname couldn't give any of the 3 of us time of day, but Don West treated us like we were family. Very interesting situation. Anyway,
Mike Tenay was trying to enjoy his cocktail, Jeff.
Well, he had a few before we got there, it looked like to me.
Oh, perhaps that was the case. Who knows? All right, so let's go ahead and do plugs. And if anybody else wants to super chat a question for Jeff and the rest of us, feel free to do so. But this is No DQ After Dark. No Virtue. We're going to see if the numbers go up. This is a social experiment. No Virtue. Will our ratings go up? Will our viewership go up? I'm going to look at the
chat room at the beginning of the show said that Mr. J's chat room's making him epileptic. Dude, you had no idea. That would not be an epileptic seizure moment, man. It would take way more than that. Trust me, I know. So,
all right. Well, looks like we already got a few more super chats here. I thought we answered this already, but Jeff, we're going to throw this over to you. Dwayne Atkinson sent in $5. He says, "Who would win in a fight, Happy Corbin or Happy Gilmore?"
Dude, I was agreeing in the chat room with what they said. Bob Barker would kick both their asses, even down as he is right now. You kidding me?
All right.
Have Barker beat up Drew Carey and take a spot in the Hall of Fame and go back to The Price is Right while you're at it, please.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Aaron knows this because he and I have been friends for almost 20 years. I religiously watch The Price is Right. Cannot stand Drew Carey now. Oh my God, it makes me puke.
All right, Jeff, I got another one for you. Jay Hunter sent in a $2 super chat. Says, better team, Michael Cole and Taz or Mike Tenay and Don West? Interesting.
Cole and Taz. And I only say that not because I was just ragging on Mike Tenay, because Don West was not a wrestling announcer. He was a shill guy. That was his thing. He was never supposed to be a long-term color commentator. It's just they couldn't have Ed Ferrara on because people hated Ferrara so much for whatever reason.
Yeah, Toll and Kaz.
Wow. Aaron, you're cut off from the Tenay cocktail.
I think this bottled water is getting to me here. All right, let's go ahead and do the plugs. I liked tolling. I just did it again. All right, I'm done. You guys know what I mean. I can't take it anymore.
Hey, I messed up Brian. I messed up Brian's name.
Yeah,
what'd you say? Bryanson?
Bryanson.
Yeah, Bryanson.
I'm sitting there just like, oh my God, we've known Bryan Danielson for almost 20 years ago. Oh wow. Well, anyway.
All right. Mr. Anderson sent in a $5 super chat. Says AEW needs to sign Bray Wyatt and Strowman now to stick it to WWE. Jeff, what do you think about this?
They need to say they're not trying to stick it to. Oh my! Take it off.
Hey, these are my super chats. You got to put them over.
Why? What? No, I have to put my own stuff over.
You do that enough as it is.
They're not trying to stick it to WWE. They're just trying to make their own product better and get their ratings.
That was the mistake that Bischoff himself has admitted he made. Oh, we're going to put that baby out of business. No, you're not. You're not going to put them out of business. They'll put themselves out of business, like Jericho said, if they continue down the path they're going. But like we all said, they'll never actually die. They'll sell to Disney. They'll sell to whoever. They'll never really die. If they were going to die, it would have been 95. And I think we can all agree on that point.
Yeah, right after the Spurway scandal.
Much like if WCW was going to die prior to the NWO thing, it would have been in 92 when it was, oh, God, the in-ring product was so good, but management was just the drizzling crap. Oh, my God.
Sounds like Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
Again, if everybody would sit there and, watch Impact on demand, since clearly we can't watch it at 8 o'clock because Aaron decided to put the show here, give them a chance.
Wait. I said exactly what you said. The in-ring product is good. The TV show is good. The management is the shits.
Okay, well, honestly, the actual management is not the people we're being. It's not just Don Callis and Scott D'Amore. It's not.
No. I'm talking from Anthem all the way down. There's no way that company is making any money. I don't understand how they're still in business. It's baffling to me. Impact should have went out of business like 10 years ago. I don't know how they make any money.
To be truthful, I don't understand it either. They have a great. Like I said, everything about their product is great, except the fact that the people, in the corporate towers, if you will, are running that company. It's very much the same thing WCW had. They've got a television-based company running a wrestling company, and that's not the way to go. The difference is, much like WCW and, in the NWO era, the in-ring product, undercard anyway, is fantabulous. And that's why they're staying afloat.
When I saw Bischoff and Hogan on my TV for Impact, I thought that was the final nail in the coffin. I thought it was it. I thought that was it for Impact. But I give them credit for surviving. And this open door policy they have with AEW, they can survive with this.
Yeah, Aaron and I were still really cooking with gas with Talk Wrestling back in 2010 when that happened. And he and I looked at each other and went, I like Hulk, but this is not good. And
yeah.
We were talking about Abyss earlier.
What?
We were talking about Abyss earlier when he was aligned with Hulk Hogan. That's when I thought they were done for good.
The whole thing was, and again, this is going to go back to what we talked about with them representing WWE. Abyss's whole gimmick was trying to earn Hogan's Hall of Fame ring from a different company. What?
Yeah, that made no sense.
I mean, when you're trying to be Dave Sullivan 2.0, something is seriously wrong.
Yeah, and the fact that Evad there didn't go near as crazy as Abyss when he turned. It was like they with Sullivan. I really think they really could have done at least something with him. Anyway,
this was a free agent. I really thought he was going to sign with WWE because I would have loved to see him and Kane. Those two gimmicks were so similar.
What? No, Aaron, put the other one back up there. Go back.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah. Impact's. The thing is, they're working with two of those companies. That's why things are. And that's the thing. Aaron and I don't know how long you two have been fans, so forgive me. I'm ignorant about that. Aaron and I have been fans long enough to remember the attempt of Vern Gagne and Jim Crockett to unite forces to try to take down the evil empire, and they couldn't get past their own friggin' egos. This seems to be better. AEW, New Japan, Impact, they're all and NWA. Oh, by the way, 10 people watch NWA. Screw you, whoever said that. Mike, whatever the hell your name
is. Is that person wrong though?
No, he's way wrong.
Okay, 100.
It's more like 15. Come on.
20.
If that few people subscribed to their Fight Network, their Fight subscription, and watched the pay-per-views, they would have been dead during this hiatus that they had to take. And yes, the reason Alice was so low was because they were off for so long too. He still ended up higher than Riddle. Oh, by the way, Virtue, he was in the 30s, 76. Do your homework, moderator guy. Anyway.
Okay. Jay Hunter sent in $2. He says, why has Ring of Honor become so irrelevant?
Because management can't stop being sexually active with the wrong people.
I was just going to say that. Management, they're all perverts.
Party. That's why.
AEW. I mean, if you look at AEW, if Sinclair Broadcasting would have actually gotten behind Ring of Honor like several years ago, AEW would be Ring of Honor.
And to further elaborate on that, who were the initial All Elite talent? They left Ring of Honor at the end of 2018. Boom, All Elite starts the first day of 19. So there you
go.
Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and do our plugs, and then if anybody else super chats, we'll get to it. Let's start with Walter. Walter, it was a pleasure to have you on tonight. You did great. Thank you for being part of the team and sticking with us through all this craziness this past 90 minutes. It was a pleasure to have you on. So anything you would like to plug or promote?
I don't have much to plug, but if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Walter Alex Cruz. It's right there on the bottom. I don't mind this. I'm always on the chat room when you guys go 2 hours. So, and I work overnight, so I'm so used to being up. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I work overnights too, homie. Hit me up.
Yeah.
All right. So now we'll throw it over to Jargo. Jargo, great to have you on once again. We hope to have you on for more in the future. Go ahead with anything you would like to plug or promote for us.
Always my pleasure. You can keep up with me across social media platforms at NotJargo. And as far as plugging things, I've seen a couple people talking about the SmackDown and the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Let's all keep that in mind when they go take the Saudi blood money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Exactly.
You know, I was going to mention that when I taped my show that's going to go up tomorrow. I didn't want to go, but you're right. You know, we're having a 9/11 moment tomorrow on SmackDown. We're going to Saudi Arabia next month. What the hell kind of hypocrisy bullshit is that? Wow.
Yep. Enjoy this 9/11 tribute and be sure to catch Crown Jewel from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the same sons of bitches that blew up the towers to begin with, but your government is lying to you and telling you it was freaking Afghanistan.
Wow, that was a pipe bomb right there.
Just saying.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Jargo. And now
I'm sorry, man. That's one of those things that just pisses me off.
It's triggering. It is triggering.
If only one person could top that, it's Jeff Meacham. And Jeff's got about 20 things he's got to plug. So let's throw it over to Jeff now. Here we go.
Well, this is just in the next, few weeks and next month. That whole bottom row is in October. But the first things are this and next week. It's going to be a busy week over at JeffMeachamNetwork.com. And also, coming up on the Greg Cherry brand in 2 weeks from tonight, actually, we're going live with the Jack of All Trades WTC match. I'm defending the title live because Greg hates me, clearly. So, yeah, I'm going to be a very busy man, and I'm rewarding myself by going to Disneyland in November. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. And thank you guys again. Chat room, anybody watching this on demand, leave a comment on YouTube. Let us know what you thought about the virtueless part of the No DQ review. I'm really curious to see if you guys thought it was great or you thought it absolutely went to hell once Virtue left.
Oh, and Aaron, you'll appreciate this. Paradise Kitty's going to be back in the Viper Room a week from tomorrow, and they're on the Jericho Cruise with me.
Well, have fun with that, Jeff. That sounds like it's going to be a good time, and you're not here for a long time. You're here for a good time.
And one thing, my friend LA is in the chat, and he's like a wrestling encyclopedia. So if you still do the questions and No DQ, you need to put him against Greg Cherry.
Greg Cherry is our WCC World Champion. Hit him up there. Yeah. LA, hit him up on social media. We will love the challenge.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's all for the No DQ review this week. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you guys. Wait, what was that? Say that again.
Now, go back and watch Impact Wrestling now that we're done.
All right, I'll get right on that, Jeff. Take care, everybody. Have a great night, and we will see you all next time.